I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwise Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Tim Dierckxsens, CEO and co-founder of Venly. Tim, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Ashton.
You're very welcome. Excited to dive into your insights into the NFT space, how we can get people onboarded that aren't already crypto natives and involved in Web3, and lowering those technical barriers to entry for mainstream adoption of tokenized technology. I would love to kick off our conversation with just a high level on what you and your team have built at Venly so far, and then we'll dive into all the details.
Yeah, that's actually our bread and butter, right? To make it easy for businesses and end users to embrace Web3 technology. So we started out building wallet solutions, NFT tools, and now marketplace solutions as well. And with our tools, it's really going into the extra mile so that no developer or no end user needs to deal with the difficulty of blockchain technology themselves.
Mm-hmm. Great. And have you been following the NFT space and the evolution of it so far? I feel like we're very early on. You know, it sort of started with CryptoKitties and these digital profile pictures, and now expanded into the fine art industry. It's also expanding into memberships, and I feel like it can really add value to all of these other different industries that are outside of Web3 and non-technical industries as well. Where do you sort of see NFT sitting right now?
It's still very early days, right? If we look at the brands coming in, they understand the value of using NFTs for IP, for licensing, for royalty payouts, but we also see it as a vehicle for fan engagement and developing communities and creating token-gated content so that we can give exclusive passes towards those real fans. We also see it as a good entry level for obtaining physical items that are maybe more branded for exclusive content.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see as sort of the main barriers to why more companies haven't already adopted this technology, and why it's not growing faster? Is it to do with the wallets and getting people onboarded, and how is your team helping with that?
I do think for a long time we've put the cart before the horse, as in it's all about NFT technology, it's all about blockchain technology, where with Venly we've always said the use cases around blockchain is what interests us. The technology is a great vehicle for value-based transactions, and NFT is another tool that can simplify that. Mm-hmm. So our aim is really to enable the businesses to use the technology in the right way, and where we take care of the security and the ease of use, so that in the end, it doesn't matter if you're tech savvy or I would then call it a mainstream user can use the technology at hand.
And it seems NFTs are growing out to a lot of different blockchain ecosystems, and if you are getting an NFT from a large company that's starting to get onboarded into this technology, and then you realize it goes into a specific wallet on a specific blockchain, it can get really confusing when there's 10 different blockchains and they're not always cross-compatible with each other, and all the technical stuff starts getting in the way. How does your team deal with that?
Good question, actually. On our side, we have a blockchain agnostic approach, so that in the end, our wallet technology can embrace multiple chains and link it to the same account. Mm-hmm. So if you log in with Google, Twitter, Facebook, or email, you have your account, and then you can have wallets on any chain that we've already integrated. Mm-hmm. And then if you go, for example, to the marketplace setting, or you look into the different wallet solutions, you have like a dashboard where all of them are aggregated.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And with this NFT marketplace, what's sort of the main focus with the Venly marketplace right now, and what's being sold there, and what your team had as a vision when they initially created the marketplace?
It's another problem that we're solving for people that have integrated our first technology using the wallets. When we started out back in 2018, we onboarded, for example, clients such as the Sandbox. With the Sandbox, we were becoming their main value driver for onboarding new users, non-crypto or tech-savvy users towards the Sandbox, and they were all getting a blockchain wallet. But OpenSea, for example, as a marketplace, that was the only one that existed at the time. They only added MetaMask as the wallet that was able to interact with that marketplace. Mm-hmm. It took them quite a long time to integrate Venly as a solution. Eventually they did, but by the time, since we had to solve the problem for the client, and because we were blockchain agnostic as a scope, it made sense for us to also provide that marketplace infrastructure so that businesses would not be limited of just a single party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's healthy to have multiple marketplaces where you can buy and sell things and speculate on them as well. But also, because we're early in NFTs, I feel like if people are buying and selling NFTs to try to make a profit, the network effect and the amount of liquidity with NFTs that aren't super popular, like some Bored Ape, it can be tough. Do you see the struggle in growing an NFT marketplace into like a specific niche where you get a certain kind of collections or traders that are working on the marketplace to help that, or do you go for like the general approach where anybody can post any kind of NFT and find other ways to build a network effect to make it increase liquidity?
Ideally, we would, in the long term, have the best of both worlds. But if you're talking about go-to-market strategy, I think we then have to look at the gaming companies and the brands that are creating collections in the e-commerce space, because those two verticals are our go-to-market. And it does need to be a little bit the two, because we've positioned our marketplace to also be for the peer-to-peer secondary marketplace. And it really connects well with another product that we've recently launched, that is the Shopify app. So we have two apps in Shopify now, one for Avalanche and one for Polygon. And this is then a no-code solution to create your own NFT contract as a brand or as an influencer, so that you can then bring NFTs into your own branded store on the platform that you already may have today.
Wow, very cool. And why do you see Shopify as sort of that main place where you can, it's funny how sort of a lot of Web3 solutions, they also need to still integrate Web2, but why do you see that as sort of the main avenue to help drive, the NFT interactions and that community?
Well, Shopify itself has today 2.7 million merchants. It is fully integrated in Facebook. It's fully integrated in Instagram, in YouTube. So social selling, that is already very big in Web 2. That power is immediately going to go into effect with Web 3. And in this case, it is again bringing the power of utilizing Web 3 the right way into the platforms that have already proven their track record of being an amazing platform. So why would we then reinvent the wheel of creating a platform from scratch while these platforms are doing amazing today?
Definitely, yeah, and that's a great point. Shopify is pretty huge, and there are also a lot of other NFT wallets or just cryptocurrency wallets that are now integrating NFTs and sort of acting as competition as well. How do you differentiate and bring a competitive advantage with such an abundance of options of where you can store your NFTs?
By providing different types of options. So quite a lot of businesses that need wallets. They might even be using Venly in the backend as a wallet provider. We don't see that as competition. It's just using a different product where we can enable them to grow. With the Shopify app, it is then where we can connect the use of selling NFTs with owning or maintaining that in the wallet, and then also promoting that further on a secondary marketplace, whether it's Venly or OpenSea or another marketplace. Our goal is really to enable Web3 to be utilized and to ensure that we can make this amazing technology finally be used in the appropriate way.
I agree. And Tim, you and I both know that NFTs aren't just a fad and they will be around in the long term, but we are early days. However, we've seen the NFT run up in the craze last year, and the volumes on the NFT marketplaces dropped significantly, more than 90% when people weren't speculating, when the cryptocurrency prices were dropping. Where do you see NFTs right now at the end of 2022 and where they're going to be in 2023? And do you think that there will be a huge uptick in them despite how the cryptocurrency market moves?
Yes. I always look back and use the Gartner hype cycle for things like this. You have the hype, you have the crash, you have the chart of disillusionment, and then you can see the real use cases coming up. So I do think NFTs will grow in the long term, and that more effective use cases and utility behind it will be leveraged.
And I heard from a few players about sort of the evolution of NFTs and NFTs 2.0, as I've heard of it, sort of like Web 3.0, but from moving beyond just profile pictures or an access card for a membership like a Bored Ape Yacht Club or something like that. Where do you sort of see 5 years down the road the main use cases for NFTs and sort of the industries that you wouldn't traditionally think are tech savvy or involved in Web3 be one of those great utilities for NFT technology?
Well, we also see NFTs being used as a certificate, right? So to prove provenance. If you're looking at companies that want to prove carbon footprint, an NFT creating the certificate as a proof of record is also one of the use cases that we see that is coming up in the market. If we have to really bet on different types of industries, it's also where the business model is somewhat shifting. Do I see it possible that an NFT would be the proof of ownership of buying a condo? Eventually it could be, but then you're also going to see the entire evolution of getting an ownership and tying it back to a bond or the asset rather than to a title of a person. And I don't think we're going to be there anytime soon.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of sort of more early adopter industries like gaming, as you mentioned, I think will be huge because there's inherent value for people that are playing those games when every item becomes an NFT, and then you're able to actually extract value from the games, which previously wasn't really possible without gray markets or third-party markets. Where you can actually sell off your items individually or collectively, and the gaming market is huge. And of course, they're already tech savvy as well. With Venly moving into 2023, and I'm guessing the gaming trend will continue as well in the more integration, because not a lot of companies have actually integrated NFTs into the games, but I feel like that will be one of the early adopters. Is that something that Venly is focusing on in attracting those kinds of people onto the wallet?
Yes, we are focusing on providing more technology and solutions so that the game developer can start integrating not just Venly, but NFT tools and blockchain capabilities inside the game by enabling it to be integrated through the game engines. In other words, everything that Venly has produced to date is great for developer that knows how to integrate our APIs. But if you're a game developer, you're still developing in a different way than a traditional software developer. So you need to embrace how they actually develop their games and make sure that our tools can cater to their needs as well.
Very cool. And what is the best way for people to just use the wallet? Is it on their phone or on the desktop?
We are bringing a mobile wallet soon, but it's not planned for 2022. So currently it is available on desktop, but we built it in such a way that it's mobile friendly. So I regularly use it on mobile as well.
Very cool. And what's the best way for people to follow along with the updates for Venly and check out the marketplace and the NFTs?
Best way would be Twitter, LinkedIn, or Discord.
Sounds great. I can leave those links in the description box below as well, Tim, for the users to get direct access to Venly and the communities. I appreciate you coming on and your insights into the NFT industry. All the best with Venly moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thanks, Ashton. Pleasure for me to be here.